I ended my engagement to my fiancée after she wanted a break to explore her ex. I sold our house and disappeared. Hello, everyone. After what feels like an eternity, I 27 million decided it was time to discuss what has been going on with me recently. Here's the thing. Until lately, I thought I was marrying the love of my life, Tessa, 26F. We'd been together for 4 years, and for the most part, I thought we were solid. But now I'm sitting here wondering why I didn't see this coming sooner. Tessa and I met at the birthday celebration, introduced by a mutual friend. She was humorous, confident, and had a no-nonsense approach that I enjoyed. I dated previously, but no one connected with me as she did. We hit it off quickly and moved in together after a year. Things felt natural, as if we were all on the same page about professions, marriage, and eventually creating a family. She was a freelance graphic designer, and I worked as a project manager for a technology business. So our schedules were very similar. Life wasn't glamorous, but it was enjoyable. We had been discussing getting married for a time, but it wasn't until last year that I proposed. Nothing fancy, just a simple supper at home for the two of us. Tessa seems thrilled. She cried, hugged me, and agreed. That night we began to envision our future. A fall wedding, a limited guest list, and this charming little site by the lake. It seemed like everything was falling into place, or so I thought. The initial red flags were little and evident. They were little sneaky flaws that I ignored. Because I didn't want to overthink. For example, Tessa's enthusiasm for wedding preparation faded after a few months. She was all in at first, sending me Pinterest boards, searching through wedding outfits and asking about small details like whether I preferred tulips or roses for the centerpieces. But suddenly it simply stopped. I'd ask her questions like, "Hey, have you chosen your bridesmaids yet?" And she'd shrug it aside. "Not yet, I'm still thinking about it." She said again, the same thing happened with her clothing cake, and music, every decision we'd been so enthused about had become something she wanted to postpone. "There's still time," she'd say. The wedding seemed like an afterthought. At the time, I told myself it was just stress. Wedding planning can be overwhelming, right? Plus, Tessa had a lot going on at work. I assumed she'd snap out of it eventually. What I didn't realize was that her lack of enthusiasm wasn't about the wedding, but about us. The true slap in the face happened one night while we were out with some friends. Someone brought up the dumb TikTok game, which you've probably seen. It's the one where you have to answer personal questions while keeping a straight face and not passing judgment. Everything was going well until someone said, "If you could relive one relationship, which would it be?" without thinking. Tessa responded, "Oh, probably Dylan." Just like that, Dylan, her college ex, the person who cheated on her. The moment she uttered that, the room became awkwardly quiet. She giggled awkwardly and attempted to backtrack, saying, not that I'd want to, it's just a significant element of my past. I wanted to confront her right there, but we were among friends, so I let it go. Later, when we were alone, I asked her about it. What was it about Dylan? Why would you choose to revisit that relationship? She simply shrugged it off as if it were no big thing. It was a stupid game. Liam, don't take it so seriously. She grinned and shifted the subject. I didn't press it because honestly, I didn't want to start a battle over something that could have been minor, but deep down it stayed with me. Following that, her behaviour became more difficult to ignore. She was using her phone more frequently, going through her text with a cheeky little smile. She began creating vague explanations for why she couldn't hang out or why she would cancel plans at the last minute. "Oh, sorry, I just have a lot of work to catch up on tonight," she'd typically remark. Or it may be, "I promised my mom I'd visit this weekend." The justifications were not particularly suspicious, but they were stacking up. It seemed like I had become less a priority. Then came Friday night, which changed everything. I arrived home from work early, excited to spend the evening with Tessa. I was hoping we might order in and binge watch something, a quiet night. When I came in, however, the atmosphere seemed odd. She was seated on the couch holding her laptop, but she wasn't working. She was staring at the screen, absolutely unfocused. "Hey, I'm home," I murmured, hoping to relieve the tension. "You're early?" she said, as if it were a negative thing. I shrugged it off and went into the kitchen to begin preparing dinner. But the silence in the house was oppressive. Usually she'd ask how my day was or tell me about her own. What about tonight? Nothing. Finally, I looked around and asked, is everything okay? She shut her laptop and glanced at me. Actually, there's something I need to talk to you about. And my stomach sank. You know how you feel when you know something horrible is going to happen, but you can't stop it? That was me, standing there like an idiot with a spatula in one hand. I approached and sat across from her. All right, I said, what is going on? She paused as if she were trying to find the proper words. She just came out with it. I've been thinking about us and about Dylan. I swear that I almost laughed. Dylan, are you serious? What about him? She bit her lip and avoided my gaze. I suppose I need some time to consider things through. I'd like to take a break and see whether there's still something there with him. I couldn't believe what I heard. Heard? Do you want to take a break and date your ex? Are you out of your mind, Tessa? We've got engaged. It's not like that, she responded hurriedly, as if she could smooth things up. I just want to know if I'm making the right choice with you, and if it doesn't work out, I pledge to come back. That's when I discovered how deep her chutzpah was. She assumed I would sit around and wait for her to decide whether I was good enough. Something inside me moved at that very instant. I did not yell or blow up. I just sat there staring at her, wondering how the hell I hadn't seen this coming. I wasn't sure how to answer it. First, my fiancée recently informed me that she wants to take a break to explore things with her ex, Dylan. What can you say to that? Finally, I asked, so what does this break mean to you? My voice came out more calmer than I felt. She straightened up slightly, as if she had been ready for this conversation. I believe we need some space to figure things out. I'll take some time to see if my feelings for Dylan are genuine, and you are welcome to ponder on us as well. Well, I couldn't believe the audacity. Wait, I replied, leaning forward. You're saying you need to date your ex, but you need to reflect on us. What kind of backwards logic is that? Tessa sighed as if I were the one acting unreasonable. It's not about you doing something wrong, Liam. This is about me figuring out what I need. She seemed to have practiced this, the way she spoke, the way she avoided eye contact. It was as if she had already decided this was going to happen and simply wanted me to accept it. You know, this sounds insane, right? I muttered, you don't just put your fiancé on hold while you go play what if with some guy who treats you like garbage. Her face tightened, and for the first time I realised how stubborn she could be. I'm not asking for permission, Liam. I'm telling you what I need. That one landed differently. I wasn't just sad anymore, I was angry. I stood up and began pacing, hoping to calm myself down. So what, Tessa? You just going to pack a bag and head over to Dylan's place? Is that your big plan? No, she insisted. It's not like that. I don't know what it looks like yet, but I need clarity before we move forward. I owe it to myself to know I'm making the right decision. You owe it to yourself, I asked, laughing. Cruy, and what about what you owe me? We're engaged, Tessa. We're supposed to be building a life together, and now you're telling me you need to test drive your ex to make sure I'm good enough? I never said you weren't good enough, she replied, her voice rising. But if we're going to spend the rest of our lives together, I have to be certain, and right now I'm not. That was it. She wasn't simply interested in exploring things with Dylan. She was also unsure about me. Even after 4 years together and all of our plans, she was still unsure. It struck me all at once. She hadn't realised how painful, stupid her plea was. She believed this was reasonable, that I'd just sit there while she figured out whatever foolishness was going through her head. I stopped pacing and glanced at her, really stared at her. You know what? Sure, I responded, my tone bland. Take your break. She blinked, surprised by how quickly I agreed. Liam, I'm not trying to hurt you. I need space to figure things out. I nodded and kept my expression bland. All right, if that's what you need. She paused, as if she expected me to argue or fight for her. When I didn't, she stood up, took out her laptop and murmured, I'll stay at my mum's for a bit. This isn't forever. We'll talk when I've had some time. Okay, I replied simply. She looked at me, wondering how to answer, and then disappeared into the bedroom. I could hear her moving around and throwing items into a bag. I remained calm on the couch, but my mind was already turning. If she really wants a break, that's okay. Let her have it. Several minutes later, I heard the front door close. She was gone. Perhaps believing she had abandoned me here to wait and worry. She had no idea I was not going to sit around and do nothing. She could have her fantasy, but I had other ideas. Now I'll provide an update once I've set some things in motion. This is not going to end the way she expects it to. Update 1. Thank you for your feedback and suggestions on my last post. A lot has happened this week, and I'd like to report how things are going. First and foremost, I want to thank everyone in this community for their wonderful support. Many of you mentioned that I don't just sit around waiting, and you were correct. I've been busy putting everything into motion. First, I called my pal Noah. He's been my best friend since college, and he's not the type of man to sugarcoat things. After hearing the full story, he brought over pizza, and we spent the entire night scheming. Dude, you realize she's going to try to crawl back once things don't work out with Dylan, right? Noah reminded him. He was correct. Of course, the more we talked, the more obvious it became that I needed to be proactive. This was not about vengeance. It was about regaining control of my life. I began with a house. Tessa doesn't seem to recall that it's entirely in my name. She loves to act as if it's our home, always talking about the curtains and paint colours she chose, yet I'm the one who pays the mortgage. I found a realtor first thing Monday morning. The realtor came by to see the property, and we decided to list it right away. The market in our neighbourhood is now hot, and we already have several potential purchasers. Tessa has no idea. She probably believes I'm sitting here in our shared home, waiting for her to sort out her feelings. The next step was to gradually remove her from my life. You remember the Live, Laugh, Love placard